Hi, I'm Eric with Simply Elegant Home Cooking. Today I'm going to show you my recipe for French green lentil soup. This is a really healthy recipe, but it doesn't lack on flavor. The French green lentils have almost an earthy, smoky quality about them too, and we're going to really highlight that and bring it out with some other ingredients in the dish. This is a recipe you don't want to miss. Stick around, I'll show you how it's done. So the first step when making this soup is to sear up a little bit of bacon. So I have a large pot over medium heat. I'm going to add in just a very small amount of neutral flavored oil. I'm going to get that into the pan and swirl a bit to coat. And I'm going to go in with 3 strips of bacon that I have diced up. And what we want to do, we want to sear this until the fat's rendered out, until it's nice and crispy. And what this is going to do, it's going to give us a little bit of fat to work with as we saute the rest of the ingredients, but it's also going to add some nice smokiness to the dish. So you want to get that in there and just stir this around as it goes. We're going to let it cook for about 5 minutes or until it's nice and crispy. Okay, we're almost 5 minutes in, and this is what the bacon looks like. At this point, it's real close, starting to crisp up. I'm going to let it go just about another 1 or 2 minutes before we add the vegetables. Okay, and now all that bacon is nice and crisp up, so I'm going to go in with 1 large white onion that I have diced up, 2 pieces of celery, and 2 carrots that I have peeled and diced. So what you want to do, you want to get everything in there and give it all a big stir to incorporate it. And at this point we want to add some seasoning, so I'm going to go in with some sea salt, also going to add some black pepper, and once you add your salt and pepper, you just want to be sure to stir everything around again. And we have this on medium heat. I'm going to let it go about 5 or 6 minutes or until these vegetables have started to soften up a bit. Okay, and now the vegetables have been in for about 5 minutes. We can add the next few ingredients. I'm going to go in with about a tablespoon of tomato paste. I'm going to go in with 3 cloves of garlic that I've crushed up with a garlic press. I'm going to go in with some fresh thyme leaves that I have minced up. And this is optional, but I always like to add a little bit of heat, so I'm also going to go in with just a pinch of crushed red pepper flakes. And once all those ingredients are in there, you just want to mix everything. You just want to let this go for about a minute. Okay, and I've stirred this continuously for the last minute. At this point, we can add the next ingredient, which is 1 can of diced tomatoes that I've drained. So I'm going to get that in there and continue to stir. And just about a minute after adding the tomatoes, I'm going to go in with a bay leaf and the lentils. This is 1 cup that I have rinsed and drained. At this point, I'm also going to add more salt. And I'm going to turn the heat down to medium-low, give everything a big stir to incorporate it all. Okay, and at this point, after adding in the lentils, turning down the heat, stirring it up till it's well incorporated, I'm going to put a lid on this and we're going to let it cook on medium-low for about 8 to 10 minutes. The lentils should darken. Okay, and after about 8 minutes, this is how it looks. I just took the lid off. So at this point, I'm going to deglaze with a ½ cup of dry white wine. And I'm going to turn the heat on to high and give everything a big stir, and we're just going to bring this up to a boil. Okay, and once that wine is simmering away, we can add in the stock. Now I'm using 6 quarts of chicken stock, but you could also use vegetable stock if you prefer. That's 6 cups. Now with the heat still on high, once you get your stock in there, you just want to again stir everything up, make sure it's well incorporated, and we're going to bring this back up to a boil. Okay, and this is what we're looking for. You want to bring the French green lentil soup up to a boil like this, and once it reaches a boil, you want to turn the heat down to low, kind of between low and medium low, and you want to partially cover it. So you want to put the cover on like that, where a little bit of that steam can still escape. And we're going to let this go for about 30 to 35 minutes, depending on how you like the consistency of the lentils. Okay, so our soup has been simmering away for about 30 minutes. You can see that the lentils have plumped up a bit. I checked them and they're just the right consistency. The way we cooked them, it prevents them from turning to mush. So at this point, there's an extra step that I like to do just to really give this soup a nice consistency. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 cups out of this and I'm going to process it in a food processor. And after processing a portion of the soup, I'm going to just add that back in. And then you just want to gently stir that in with the heat still on low. You don't want to boil this at this point. So we're just going to stir that in until it evenly incorporates and just gives the the soup a richer, thicker body. And we are just about done. It's only time to put on a couple finishing touches into the French lentil soup. I'm going to go in with a drizzle of high quality balsamic vinegar. You want to make sure you're using good stuff. That's just going to add some freshness to the dish. And finally, I'm just going to go in with 5 ounces of baby spinach. You could also just use parsley, Italian parsley, and cut that up. But I like adding spinach, and I know this looks like a lot, but this is going to cook way down. So we just want to leave this on the low heat and let that wilt in over the next 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll be ready to serve this up. It's going to be good. Okay, so here is our dish, plated up French green lentil soup with spinach. I've served it up with some baguette bread that I've cut into slices and toasted. Let's dig in and give it a try. That's really, really good. Everything's just well balanced. The bacon added a smokiness, just really draws out the flavor of those green lentils. They're cooked perfectly. They're firm. They're not mushy at all. And I really like to serve these with the bread. I like to just dip that right in there. This is just such a satisfying dish, such a satisfying bowl of soup, especially once the weather gets cold, coming soon. I really hope you enjoyed this recipe, French green lentil soup. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Eric with Simply Elegant Home Cooking, and I'll see you again soon.